Welcome back. Let's look at the part 3 of the GES Code of Conduct. Part 3 Rules of Conduct for Staff. Teaching Notes. That's number 1. Teaching Notes. A teacher shall prepare relevant and adequate teaching notes for his or her work in advance. So, as teachers, we are expected as professionals to prepare our notes adequately, to be adequately prepared for the classes or our lessons. So we prepare in advance before the class starts. Then you can prepare before the day you start or before you start the lesson. So we don't expect to be in school, and then when it is time for your lesson, you then start preparing. Let's always be guided. Prepare in time, then send them for even vetting before you start using them. Now let's go to the second part. The second part is saying that it shall be the responsibility of the head of the institution to see to it that this is done. So I mean that your head teacher or headmistress must see to it that you prepare your notes. So that is the responsibility of your head teacher. The head teacher will always remind you to do the needful. Prepare your notes in advance and bring them for vetting before you start using them. So that in case there is any mistake, they can be corrected before you use them. You don't go and teach and then come later and prepare the notes. So that one will not go down well. It's unprofessional. Prepare the notes before you go and teach. And so our colleague teachers, let's follow this. When your head asks you to prepare the notes, make sure you do it before time, before the lessons. You go to the next one, exercises. A teacher shall set adequate amounts of written and practical exercises and give homework in all subjects that he or she teaches. So as a teacher, you have to give enough exercises, written and practical. In addition to that, give homework. If you are in the primary school, all the subject that you teach, you give homework and exercises. As a subject teacher, you are teaching in the junior high school, you teach more than one, you give exercises and mark them. And then give corrections. And then you give them something to take home to do. That is expected of us. And I hope when we do this, our case will sit up and perform. And that would even guide them to learn. But when we fail to do all those things as professionals, it will go a long way to affect the student negatively. So let's be guided by this. Then 2, a teacher shall mark and evaluate all written through practical exercises promptly and carefully. Yes, so when they do the exercise or the homework, and submit them for marking. Make sure you mark them. Don't keep them on the table or in the staff common room for days on end without marking them. That one, you are not giving a good signal to the student. Make sure you mark them after your lessons or when you during your leisure time, break time, to mark them. Yes. Or when they are doing other, you engage them in other things. For example, you are giving them other exercises, so you can go and sit down even in the class and mark the other exercises, the previous one. Or when you are giving them notes on the board and they are copying, sit down and mark. So always find time. There's always time you can get to mark the exercise. So teachers' inability to mark an exercise because there's no time is no excuse. So let us always be guided by this and mark our exercise. The next one, number 3, a teacher shall set, mark, and manage his or her own end of term examinations. Yes, this is interesting. So point number 3, according to the code of our conduct, we ourselves must set, mark our own end of term examinations. So we shall set the questions at the end of the term, shall set the questions and mark them, but not to allow somebody who doesn't even know the school, who doesn't know the student, to set the questions for the children to write, who doesn't even know the curriculum, the scheme that you are following, just because of some kind of laziness, or because we don't want to deal too much into the work because of our own other duties. We always want to rely on the third parties, the outsider, to set the questions. They'll just relax. The one that comes, they bring their marking scheme, whether they are wrong or not, they just mark. And so over and over the year, we have been doing this, so that we are not simple. Let's do our own. You can also set our questions and mark. Then the next one, a teacher shall not make derogatory remarks in the exercise books of the child. So when you mark, the remarks, the recommended remarks are there. Make sure you put that one. Don't make any comments that will put shame to the child. They draw the head and the ears of the child. No. Any insulting remarks, we should desist from that. That is not approved. Right. Now the next one. A teacher shall not under any circumstance make a pupil or student copy exercises, stroke notes on the chalk or whiteboard while he or she is present or absent. It is a duty that is the sole responsibility of the teacher. So what this one is saying, so most of us are victims here. Whether you are present or not, or absent, don't give exercises or notes for any of the child or of the student to write on the board for you. Students will not be note writers or takers on the board, or copy exercise on the board for their colleagues to also copy. That is your duty. That is why you are a teacher. That is part of your work. The student is not a teacher, it's not a professor. I'm not going through the training. So you should be doing it, not the child or the student you are teaching. When you do that, it doesn't send a signal, positive signal to the student. So let's be guided and be mindful of this. So at this point, I will end here and I will continue next time. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to meet you in the next class. Thank you.